Hello, everyone. Welcome to Four Checks Cast. We are your Four Checks here to give you everything going on in Universus. And we have got one really big thing to talk about today that would pretty much take most, if not the entire show. We have a few things in the back burner if we go through it quickly. But Organized plays out for next year. And we wanted to save it for all four of us to be here to talk about it because it is a really big deal and there's a lot of things to talk about. We've gotten a little bit more info since it was first announced. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. First, what were some of the things from Organized Play this year? We kind of talked about this a couple weeks ago, but just to see where we're at right now. What were some things from Organized Play this year that you thought could use a little bit of improvement? Maybe it was pricing or saying, what were the big things that you were looking for in this announcement video?
I got way above my expectations in terms of clarity of like locations and dates. Yeah, and like this year was so up in the air for so long.
Yeah, so Northeast somewhere, sometime.
Yeah,
in this calendar month somewhere, and we still have like the calendar month, but we have a city, and we can probably presume that they're not going to place these on top of their LC windows. So we have like 1 or 2 weekends that it's going to be usually.
And we also have the World Championships in 2026, which is very novel.
Right.
and very good. Big fan. So.
Absolutely. Was there anything besides dates that you were really looking to see change? Like besides getting clarity on dates?
I've been harping on promo quality, and we saw a little bit of that. That's still gonna. I mean, we haven't even seen the world's promos or whatever yet, so it's going to be a little while before we see how those actually turn out.
Right.
I would say I was hoping to see prize wall improvements, and that kind of already started with some of the deck boxes at Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So that is proceeding apace. I don't think they're necessarily ever going to be able to do really cool, sick prize wall playmats, but it would be nice if they could find a way to do that.
Right. Absolutely.
Maybe one of these companies they do an experience bundle deal with, they get like an added kick, like, hey, can we also just like make a couple prize wall playmats? That would be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So Organized Play is out, and I'm going to go and pull up the schedule real quick. I'm going to kind of have it overtake us just a little bit in size for a minute so we can show it off.
Yeah, they don't need to see us.
They don't need to see us for just a moment as we talk a little bit.
They don't need to see our names, bare minimum. They know our names by now.
So just real quick to kind of look at it, we have got 4 regionals in the United States, one in April, June, July, and September. And we know that they are going to be Chicago, Las Vegas, Dallas, and Atlanta. So they're dropping the number of event regionals from, I think it was 12 this year, down to 4, which is a pretty big drop. But it's not surprising because we're also moving up the 2026 Worlds. Instead of it being in February of 2027, we're just doing 2026 Worlds in November. So you only had like a 9-month gap. It means instead of doing roughly a regional every month, they're now doing a regional every 2 months. Are you guys disappointed at the decrease in the number of regionals, out of curiosity?
In a purely selfish sense, this isn't that many fewer. And they're actually like clustered across the year instead of being clustered kind of at the end. Feels like this year.
Sure.
We had not a lot of regionals for a while, then we had a whole bunch kind of not back to back, but in tighter proximity.
Yeah, just because of the way the Toronto was not a US regional.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of felt like, and the fact that all the ones on the eastern half of the country were in the second half of the year.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and as far as like, ignoring the elephant in the room, which we'll probably get to later, the only disappointment I really have with this, and it's not even that big of a deal, right? It's the fact that they're 2 back-to-back, and it's kind of expensive places for me to fly at least, but that's just a personal bias. Sure. I do kind of wish that Vegas and Dallas weren't literally June and July together.
Yeah.
So I could probably only get to 1, but it's whatever.
I'm
fine
guessing that's going to be like first weekend of June and like last weekend of July or something like that.
I really hope so.
I think it's because I think there's an LC season in the middle there, if I recall. So that's my guess as to what the intent is.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is I'm willing to bet I will probably not be able to make the Dallas regional because the most likely weekend for it to be is that third or fourth weekend of July, and one of those is Comic-Con weekend, which I'll be out for, which is a good reason to miss a regional, but sucks I can't go to the one that's 30 minutes away likely.
I just don't have the funds.
Yeah. And because it's not likely to be that much later, because I don't know if it's end of July, beginning of August this year, or the weekend after that in August, but there always is at the late July, early August Gen Con as well. And they're probably going to want to keep from squishing it too close to Gen Con just because
for their
there's
own
too much
sanity.
overlap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for their own sanity, not because, there are people that play Ubius that are going to go to Gen Con that are, myself included, will possibly skip a regional that's a week or two before Gen Con.
Right.
Especially if I want to go to Gen Con with a J in Calgary a few weeks later. Is a choice I'll have to make, but probably decide after Chicago, right?
But the good news is, if you are wanting to engage in this competitive season, this is not the only way that they have competition set up. So they have said every season there is going to be 40 LCSs across the world. Now, my understanding from confirmation that I have gotten and from what the video said and all of that is that this is 40 each season across the entire world, which means there will be less than 40 in the United States.
Yes.
Correct.
I know some people were asking would be like 40 in the US and 40 in the world. The numbers look like it is 40 across. We don't know what percentage is going to be in the US. It's pretty safe to assume it's going to be the lion's share, but we don't know if that's going to be like 30 or 32 or exactly what number we're going to have there. I think the only problem I have with LCS is I don't hate them in concept, especially with the pricing that we'll talk about in a minute. I think my only problem with the LCSs is that we're calling them LCSs.
You're calling them LCSs. Everyone else
they're
calling them
LCs.
Okay, you know what I mean. Yes, they're called LC. My problem is
Yu-Gi-Oh brain over here.
They are called local championships. They are not really locals. They are mini regionals. I think we really should have brought back the provisional name that we used for like the PTCs and like the provisional license exams. I think provisional would have made the most sense.
Justin, join me in treating these like, for instance, Armin 3, and just call them these are level 2 events, and just unilaterally just give them a number.
Yeah, the level 2s. Yeah.
I am not opposed to just calling them the level 2s now.
Or the minors, actually, because we know that they award major buys, and so this is the minors.
Right. That would make sense.
You're gonna travel across state lines to traffic some minors.
Yeah, I think that's probably why they're avoiding that type of name, to avoid lowbrow jokes. Cough, cough.
I think there is one question here that we have to at least engage with a little bit before we get into pricing, which is, this is the only thing that Europe and OCE, we don't even know if OCE is getting any of it, but we're assuming they're getting at least some of it.
They'd better. I mean, they're the only region. If you've looked, I went and scrolled through, at least for the last season, the LCs that happened for season 3. The only ones that are populated are the Australian ones. Right. All the North American, European ones get like max 10 people.
Oh yeah.
And OCE's got like 16, 18, 15. And that's populated by current LC standard, which is also sad. But
yeah, which is a whole different can of worms.
They're the only ones that care about these events to begin with.
Yeah. Which, where are you guys in because so to kind of set the scene for anybody who has not been paying attention to Universus main cord or their social media channels, Europe is unhappy. Really enough, I haven't heard much of OCE get angry. I guess they figured they only had 1 to 2 regionals.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little crazy to me just because if they have the wherewithal, right, and they want to go to a regional, the flight from the UK to a US regional is not that much more than like a cross-country US flight.
Sure.
Like for us to go to maybe not Justin, but for the other ones was to go to like that Las Vegas event is not going to be dramatically, if at all, cheaper than a UK person going to Chicago or Atlanta. It will be a bit of a shorter flight.
Yeah.
But not even that much shorter, actually. So obviously they still have a right to be upset, but like OC traveling to US is way harder
honestly, the bigger thing than the travel or the travel price for a lot of European players that I can empathize with is the flight time. Not just because you're sitting on a plane for longer, but it means you usually have to use more PTO days. Like
Yes.
I can go cross country pretty easy. Now DFW helps. We have a lot of flights, but I can go cross country after work on Friday, leave late on or return late on Sunday, and I don't have to take any
Cross country
PTO.
for you is half a country.
That's true. That's true. I don't actually have a
Yeah,
true
it
cross
is.
country.
Yeah, because of the way time zones work, we can like sometimes not take a Thursday off to go out west.
Yeah.
But we definitely have to take the Monday off to get back.
There's,
so yeah, it's a little bit. It's definitely more, right? It's definitely harder.
Yeah.
But it's not crazy, relatively speaking. Certainly not compared to trying to get here from Australia.
I will give some degree of empathy to them because I do think in an ideal world, OCE and Europe having one regional, even if it was smaller in scale, because I know, and we'll talk about it in a little bit, Levi has a lot more that he has said he wants to do with this based on the video with regionals than just the tournament. Even if it was just a tournament for EU and OCE, I do think they probably should have one each.
I think it's such a frustrating discourse.
I think it's a no-win. Yeah.
Like, so I mean, how many local championships do you think there were this year on the overall schedule? Was it 100? Was it 200? It was a lot more than 40, right?
Yeah, it was like 100 something per season, probably.
And yeah, hundreds per season versus 40 a season. So they're condensing their events so that maybe you can say, oh, this is the sign the game is dying if you want to over hyperbolize it or whatever, be a super pessimist. But they're condensing their events to make their events better. They have more people show up and have them be more worthwhile to attend, right? To have them be more compelling and more interesting and more meaningful to attend and more worthwhile to take your time out of your other hobbies, your other life events, or your everything else that's happening and go to these actual and actually play Universes and to dedicate yourself in advance to prepare to go to these events. And that's a decision they made. And like, I think it is completely valid to be unhappy and frustrated and sad and disappointed and to feel lost if you're not in America where you can't go to these regionals, or to be unhappy that you don't have as many local championships to go to and have a different path to Worlds this year if you feel like you need to go to Worlds and that's really important to your definition of success in the game is to qualify for Worlds. Now it's going to be harder this year than it was last year or whatever. It's completely reasonable, completely normal to experience those emotions. And it's completely valid to have those emotions, to have that reaction to stuff. I like my piece on this is like I'm really frustrated by like just the infinite rationalizations then of saying, well, it's not that I'm hurt by this, it's that someone else is screwing me, or to say someone else is like out to get me personally, and or that like that's not my pain that's the problem, it's that someone else is a villain of this story.
I do wish the conversation was more productive, and I think it is really easy.
I wish it was more meaningful.
I don't want to sound pro company when I say this because I am not necessarily a pro corporate person by any stretch of the imagination. Just see how my arguments on proxies for that. But I think you can acknowledge that like it sucks that the company put it in this situation that we are in, that World is in this situation without acting like the company is trying to kill EU, which is the way I've heard some people from EU phrase it. Like you can even think it's a bad business decision, and I think there are some arguments that like it may do more damage in the long run for Universes that can be had. I think this malintent that I've seen being ascribed to it, I feel is very unproductive in the conversation. I would agree there.
Yeah, it's a really hot trend these days to just accuse anonymous conspiracies of being behind your downfall. And of all of the problems in your life aren't your mistakes or anyone's mistakes. It's actually specifically demons out there who are seeking to undermine you and to ruin things intentionally for their own ends. And not, difficult trade-offs that are entailed in reality.
Yeah, I mean, they were probably, I mean, I guess we don't know, right? But if I were them, right, I would have been thinking like, if I put on these big regional productions in NA, and then we have a regional in EU, and it's the same, like here's 60 people in Patriot Games with like Lenovo showed up, they'd get mad about that too. They're going to say they won't now, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But there would have been just as much outrage and outburst if they follow through and make the NA regionals really, really cool.
Yeah, we know that all players in Universus are equal. To borrow your favorite phrase of this week, like how this year some players have to earn 200 points to qualify for Day 2 of Worlds, and other players have to earn fewer than that. Like all players are equal, except some are more equal than others. It's just how it goes.
I've luckily been bunkered up in the UAT testing room for most of the week and not been quite as active on Discord to get to bathe in the toxic sludge quite as much.
So, we're complaining out of catharsis, not out of. Well, I'm complaining out of catharsis, more so than genuine pain or anything.
I am very glad that I don't go around main court so much, because as anyone who knows how I am in David court, I will hop into any argument at the drop of the hat. And every time I do look into main court, it has been like the most insane arguments about the OP, specifically interacting with international.
But anyway, so like go back and not get into just like complaining about the complainers, right?
Right.
Like I do think I more or less appreciate and support the idea of Universus isn't going to say that they're going to have regionals in the overseas when they're not going to be the same kind of event, not the same scale, not the same treatment. Like they're not going to come pretend that they're doing regionals overseas when they're really not.
Right.
And I am sure that by probably like season 3, this new brand of LCs is going to be more important to people than they presently think they're going to be. I still think that probably having that be the peak of, in your continent of the world organized play is going to feel a little low, particularly with, NA getting regionals that have very distinct pricing.
Yeah.
And hopefully, and they have plenty of time to do this, and there's, rushing a decision just so that, people rage on Discord for, 2 weeks instead of 4 weeks isn't necessarily very sensible.
No,
right.
But I'm imagine and hope that they will figure out ways to get either, pick certain LCs to be like the big LCs that get some bonus prizing or something like that to give the overseas a little bit more than what they're getting. But I agree and appreciate with the idea that they're not going to pretend that they're going to go over there and put on these big regional productions.
The big thing I would not expect when I've seen EU players talk about it, and this is kind of a good transition into pricing. And I'm going to throw up the LC pricing right now as we're kind of talking about this. All of the LCs get you an invite to Worlds, and there are 160 of them throughout the year. And then top 8 placement at each regional gets you to Worlds. And so what that means when you do the math is that 192 people qualify throughout the year. And then additionally, they are taking 16 people from the sudden death tournament, if my number is correct.
Yeah.
And that gives them a final number of 208, which, while not perfectly evenly divisible by 32, it gets you 6.5, which feels like a very intentionally chosen number.
I mean, a pile of them are going to use buys, so
sure. Yeah. So I am guessing there is something that they have done to that math where they are predicting based on the buys and based on the round 1 or number of that's going to be an evenly cut number. And I say all that to say, I think it'd be cool if they bring more pricing, like more of the top promos, the regional promos and things like that to EU and OCE. I would not expect more invites to be given out than what we have.
Right.
I do not think they're going to add more.
I don't think that's going to be, I don't think invites are going to be in short supply overseas.
I don't think they are either.
My imagination is that it's going to be like 6 EU and 4 OCE LCs per season, probably. We're not going to have, there are not 24 people in Europe that will travel to Worlds anyway.
Sure.
Right. There are not 16 people. Like, obviously, they're not going to be gaming the system right out of the gate to make sure that only people who will travel are getting the invites. But like by the end, they're probably going to do a little bit of that.
Yeah.
depending. But
you know, if Mike Hardiman doesn't have an invite by season 3 or 4, which he probably will, there will be some conversation about, hey, these are the people we know are going to travel to Worlds.
Right. And I think it is also important to remind everyone who's watching this that invites do
they pass down.
Yes, they pass down.
100%.
So like, even if the same person wins all of these EU LCs, there are still going to be that many players who are going to be able to go.
The playmat collector.
I think this year or next year, way more than this year, it's really hard to predict how hard you're going to have to work to make it to Worlds. Like last year or this year, numbers get weird because this current season, it's very predictable because you need 50 points and you can reasonably predict where you might end up at a tournament. I mean, you know, if you go top 32 at 2 regionals, you're making it. You know, if you're the best player at your locals and you attend 1 regional, you're probably making it just based on how the numbers shake out. That sort of predictability doesn't exist. Like the example that I gave is like using the top 32. You are not guaranteed day 1 by placing top 32 twice in next year. Like how
I think you're absolutely right. I think that this has kind of been almost like an arc of the qualification system, is that year 1 was very unpredictable because you could only score points by high finishes at regionals, and you needed a lot of points. And then also there was you could qualify by nationals. And then the next year it was only qualify at nationals.
Yeah, only the knife fight.
And then the subsequent year, it's like, okay, yeah, now we have this points race system. We're in a race, so like down to the wire, we don't know who's actually gonna where's the line gonna be drawn. We're gonna double qualifiers and stuff. They're gonna move the lines around. And then this year we had I think a very rational system, but also almost too much of a predictable system. I think, especially with the local championships that were like, 8-person or fewer in the event, and it's 5 points for top 8. So you're guaranteed 5 points for everyone you can attend to. Mm-hmm. And then folks could qualify just by having a fertile local territory. They got a lot of 5 and 10 point matches.
It says a lot that I kind of like, because I was trying to finish off my day 2 qualification. I was like, oh, if I just drive down to Austin, there's a tournament in Austin and a tournament in Katy that combined, like, if I get top 4 at either of them and they each will have like 8 people, I'll be locked for Worlds and day 2. And it's like, oh, okay, it feels weird because it feels like your actual performance at the tournament kind of stops mattering at a certain point. Whereas here, for the most part, your performance is going to still on some level matter. I think there'll be a very interesting question of like, how far I think Atlanta's the last one. How far will Atlanta's regional world qualification roll down? Because at that point you'll have what, 190 or 180 of your 192 invites,
something like that.
184 of them. Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah, we don't know if the regional ones are going to roll down or not.
Exactly.
The LC ones certainly will.
I
think it was confirmed that all of them rolled
I can
down.
confirm.
Okay, so that's going to be crazy. Yeah,
that was one of the questions that I asked Levi, and he told me I could answer, and I believe it's in the FAQ. It is confirmed that all qualifications will roll down. The thing that will not roll down is travel vouchers. Right. So you can stack travel vouchers if you want. And buys, I don't think roll down.
That's very surprising to me. I can't wait until 43rd place misses world qualifications on tiebreakers.
Yeah. I will say I am going to miss having the second level of the day 2 chase.
Yeah.
I think something that's going to happen is 2026 is once you have your invite, like trying hard at regionals to try to win the backup prize and maybe a buy or whatever is somewhat compelling. All right, I should check my privilege a little bit. The backup prize isn't super compelling to me.
Man, I wonder if there's something about you, Tim.
But it is a cool prize for most people. But I don't know how many people are going to, like, people show up to regionals being like, I'm not going to win, but I might top 32, top 16 or whatever. So I'm going to like relatively try. Right. And like that level of finish isn't going to be very valuable next year. Unless like the way the packs or promos or prize world tickets or whatever shake out seem really compelling. So I'm going to miss that of like the later regionals are going to feel very, for a lot of people, they're going to be like, either you like win or you like at least top 4, or you get kind of nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was one of the conversations that I first had about it with our team chat, was like, man, the backup pricing is really cool. And I do want to reconfirm, I believe it was mentioned in the FAQ, but I did talk to Levi about it and he told me that this was a thing we could say. You do get to choose which backup you're an alt art of. So it's not
and they're allowed to veto you, I'm sure. But yes.
And I'm sure they're allowed to veto you if they think the card is going to be eventually banned or whatever. I'm sure there's things they can do.
Yeah, we don't want to reprint this. No, you can't be a Jaeger stop. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you will, for the most part, get to choose, which is really good, because I was really worried at first it was just going to be a random one. I'm like, oh, if you're just a random one, that might be kind of
why make it random? Why not there's no reason not to.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. And so like if I got told I could have, because I'm a poor heathen who does not have a character card, unlike two people in this call. If I got told that I could make like an alt art of me that's Hitch after playing the Hanji deck, that would be really cool. Like I would be really excited for that. So I think it is a really cool prize. I do agree that the pricing drops off a cliff after first place. Like you get the invite, that's cool. You get, but if you already have that doesn't matter.
Dude.
Huh?
Welcome to the game. We call him first loser for second place for a reason, man. That's how it goes. That's how it's always. That's how it always is.
Broberg, people in second place in Riftbound are getting like $5,000. You can still have good pricing after first place.
Look, you got Riftbound money. You want to throw at UVSG? I'm sure you can. Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll say, like, there's things on these Pres Labs. I'm looking at. There's this regionals deck box, right? If that thing is super sick, right, then top 8 pricing is really good, right? We just haven't seen what these look like.
And it's worth noting that like the deck boxes that UVS Games gave for Worlds went for like good money. Like it was, I knew people who sold theirs for like 120, 150, stuff like that. And so like if I can get a top 8 deck box I can sell for 125 or even $100, and then I can get like some cool promos that maybe have some value, or I can keep them. We'll see. A big question, and this kind of when we talked about this, we're talking about our problems with last year, at least I talked about it. A big question is, of course, how good are the promos going to be? Well, the big selling point is there are a bunch of top cut promos. Are those top promos going to be of competitive cards? Are they going to be character cards? What are they going to be? Depending on how good they are, vastly changes how much going to regionals will feel worth it.
Right. We've only gotten a sneak peek of some of the art. We don't know anything else about them.
And the art does look
it's
cool.
Good. Yeah.
It's cool art.
Can I just say, I followed chat a minute ago, and Andrew, I read Andrew's message that anyone who has a tournament without thinking they can win without getting first place needs to be called from their bloodline. And it was really delightful reading that. When the rant that was on the tip of my tongue was about extrinsic motivation, and about if you're chasing the rewards from success, that is corrosive to your ability to actually compete to your fullest potential. You have to actually love the game and actually want to play the game on its own terms in order to succeed. And I strongly believe that. You have to be motivated for the sake of motivation, not for the sake of, oh, I'm going to get $10 in my pocket.
Broberg,
right?
We are about to get into I'm trying to make sure we don't tangent too far, but I half disagree with you on that one.
You have to disagree with me because you don't have a whole soul, so you can only disagree with me with the missing half.
Yeah, I mean,
I can agree with that.
So okay, whoa.
There's like I think if I go to an event feeling like the compelling pricing to me for whatever my values are starts at 4th place, for instance, I am more likely to play the silly B tier deck that I find really fun than I am to play something sweatier that I don't like as much, for instance, right? Depending on, I guess, if it's Worlds for, depending on, I guess, how compelling the pricing is.
If you could show up with Milrodan,
it's not a matter of like whether I show up or not, but it's like, am I playing Chronostasis or am I playing Ymir, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't know why I'm being bullied so much by chat. I haven't done anything wrong yet.
You just doxed someone earlier today.
They know.
So, anyways,
So tell me what.
So let me explain why
I've very very ungenerous words in your mouth. What's the half disagreement?
So the reason I have disagree is, so I agree with you from the perspective of like, if your sole goal is to win, it is corrosive and you won't do your best. A good example of that is when cash pricing is on the line. I think you're like Marquis McKinney's of the world. who like were very clearly here for the money, and as soon as the 250K price fell off, players like that kind of dispersed. I think that is corrosive to overall development in the game. That being said, I think there is also a line where you can go, hey, I love playing the game. I don't necessarily love it enough to spend $500 on a flight, plus $300 for a hotel room, plus all of that to show up to a regional when I could stay home and play it with my locals or on TTS or things like that. And I think when you're talking about I'm putting investment of money to go to this, PTO time to go to this, I think getting something, knowing that there is something you can get back beyond winning, knowing if I get top 8, I get something good, makes it feel way easier to spend that money.
Well, I think to be clear, to be clear, like I do think like the sort of the style of the institutional, like UVS games, quality of the community aspect is relevant. Like we don't want to have a bunch of grifters showing up and trying to scam people to get wins because they're getting paid for it.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing more on the personal level of like it is important to maintain your relationship with the game in a way that you aren't doing it for the paycheck.
Sure.
And that like these are hobbies at the end, like this needs to be a hobby. It should not be a profit center. Tournaments are not profit centers. And
I agree. And the fact matters, if you like the answer, this might sound mean. The best way if you want to make money is to not play card games. It's to get a job. Like you'll get way more consistent money going to work on a Saturday than going to play card games.
They pay extra on weekends.
But also to whatever extent, right, the like top 32 level pricing, or there is no top 64 pricing or whatever, feels disappointing to people. That's also why, and they're talking about doing this, and we'll see how it goes. You make events that are more than just the main tournament, right? You have really compelling side events. You have really interesting prize wall things that people want, and they can still get good prizes out of the tournament, just not necessarily because they did a main event. Maybe it's they didn't even get a prize, but there was a voice actor there signing stuff, and they got some cool cards signed or whatever, right?
Absolutely.
There's still plenty of ways to do this that aren't just the core prizing. It's just that we've had basically just the core prizing plus like a few prize wall promos this year, so we're not. Hopefully we get to Chicago and we're like blown away by all the stuff they do.
I think that is where I was more going with saying I have to disagree with Broberg, because I 100% agree that like you need to be in it for the love of the game if you're going to take this game seriously. Like that is true of any game. But I also think like it is easier to justify showing up to tournaments and things like that when there is prizing beyond first place. That is good.
I absolutely agree. I think it is valuable and important for there to be good prizes that are compelling and worth showing up for. And if they're profitable as a side effect, that's fine too. That's good for the system too, if you can go home and sell them for more than you paid to go to the event.
I am going to say, oh, sorry.
I just said it's very important to keep it in order, that you're playing the game for the sake of playing the game, that you're showing up for the sake of showing up, and not for the sake of your pocketbook, and not for like this illusion that you'll be like a backpack vendor and make your money back that way. If you're not really about that hustle and grind life.
I am going to state one thing now that I want from 2027, because I know there's not enough time for it to show up in 2026. We need to steal Riftbound's best of character pricing. I think the thing Riftbound is doing, where every regional, if you are the best performing character from one of the characters in the new set, you get a metal version of their legend card, which is their character card.
That's charming.
That is so
specifically
cool.
The new set.
Yes, it's a new set. That's what makes it sustainable long term. So you don't have to print 100 of these down the road. You can be like, every regional, we print the 16 new characters. If you're the best with one of those, that is one of the coolest.
That's really good, because it specifically drives the engagement with the new stuff. Even if it's like, oh, this is a bad character out of the gate. Well, now I can now be the headhunter for the cheap chrome of bad character.
Yeah. I mean, and even if you don't do that, right? Like, I really like the worlds that Justin and I, or the Nats that Justin and I taught, where you got a special, unique promo in general, just for being the best character out of those options, right? Yeah. Like, what was it? I think it was like the alt art hardened jab or something.
Yeah, it was the hard jab. That was you got like it was the early bird promo, and then like that was it or something. Yes, it was relatively hard to get.
Yeah, like I think that was also a good way to do it if you don't want to do like a bunch of different unique cards, even if it's only like 16 of them. If you want to make everyone who's playing whatever character they like to play feel special at all times, you at least print like a unique promo every single event
Yeah.
for each person who does a thing like that.
Now, that all being said, my understanding is these are all going to have to be 2027 dreams, because my understanding is that like these sort of prizing promos get figured out really long in advance. Like,
Yeah.
Right, you have to print
probably
them.
almost, if not all of next year's are kind of known, like in
Right.
the company internally are known.
Sure.
So like I would not, these are just my 2027, because I'm like, dude, Riftbound's doing some cool things that we should 100% be stealing. And
Sure.
we're the same organized play team, so let's steal from them.
Yeah, Sean has those hard jets for like $16 each.
Broberg's might be like, hey, am I going to get these for heroic? Like,
I mean, they're
Yeah.
cool.
Well, those are. I still believe that my Summon Dark Shadow alts are haunted. Those cards are not fairly randomizable without, I don't know, some level of heroic pile shuffling non-determinism. So maybe not, but
oh man.
they look nice.
I do want to talk about one other thing before we kind of move on. So are you
Yeah,
guys?
we've been down some rabbit holes.
Yeah, we've done. I'm trying to realign us back to talking about like the OP structure itself. So it's a 9-month tournament structure. Like from March to November, it's 9 months. I had a theory that I want to spit out right now in relation to that. I wonder if the set release stuff is based on this or not.
I thought
Like,
that was confirmed.
Is
I
the
thought that
set
was
releases confirmed?
I
to
thought
be with this OP
is that
structure?
not one of the things that was asked?
It might have been. I did
Okay.
not ask it. I
Okay,
did not
fair.
ask if I
So
asked if the set releases would make sure that they come out in good gaps. That way they don't do like one weekend before. I do not know if, for example, our
That's
last
fair.
for our 3 sets of the year, if the last one is before or after the championship.
I see.
So I'm
I would
really interested in
assume
seeing if we get a December set or not still, because we normally get a set late November, early December.
Yeah, I think what they're probably going to try to angle for is to have, you know, the last set of the years in late October, early November, or something like that. And then the first set of next year, instead of having this weird rotation gap at the start of the year where like, here's a challenger, nothing's rotated yet because it's not a booster set. The booster set comes out in March, right? They're just going to like drop a booster set mid-January to start 2027 and rotation.
And alternatively, maybe move up like if they still do challenger decks that early, they can move
Put it in
up to,
December.
Like, December. Yeah.
I actually think, even though there's a lot
Christmas
I really liked from this year's season, I think there is a transition thing going on where they are doing this world so early and so close to this season's worlds because they want to start getting a January to next January world cycle instead of this weird February to February.
Yeah, no, I mean, this just makes sense, right? Like this is going to set them up to do a timeline that is more sensible to everyone involved next year.
Yeah, and doesn't get the weird like, oh, was that set technically out like in the 2025 or 2026 cycle? Which I've heard a million people ask with a lot of the ones that are like released in January and stuff. I do think there's one weird thing. So I think this all stuff is really cool from next year. Am I the only one who's bothered that we still don't have details for how day 1 and day 2 of Worlds works this year?
That's crossed my mind once or twice, yeah.
Because it's really, we know the exact number of people who make it from day 1 to day 2 or day 0 to day 1, depending on who you ask for Worlds this year or next year. And how many are going to make it from day 2 to day 3 next year? How many are making it from day 1 to day 2 this year?
And actually, so are we out of local championship
Yes.
points for this year?
All we have left is Glasgow and Buffalo.
Yeah, after Buffalo, everyone will know if they can go or not.
Yeah, there are season 4 LCs. They said that season 4 LCs will apply to the next year. clearly they are not going to apply one-to-one as LCs because the structure is changing so dramatically that you can't.
Yeah, I think they're just going to be locals with some extra prizes on them, and there's not going to be any.
I think they're either just going to be locals with extra pricing, or I could see a world where winning an LC gets you like a round one bye, but it's for a regional, but it's not stackable and it doesn't give you a world's qualification or something like that. Like there are things.
Yeah, you can get a bye for Chicago or something.
Yeah. There are things they could definitely do where it can matter in some extent, but the season 4 LCs this year that are coming up in a couple of weeks are going to feel like lame duck events for sure, because they don't really count for anything.
And Worlds warm-ups.
Yeah, Worlds warm-ups, really.
Also, it's not in a couple weeks. Like they come out like right before Worlds, right after Worlds.
Yeah, they're going to be.
Guilty Gear LCs aren't until next year.
I thought they were late December, LCs. Early January.
No.
Okay.
They are after Buffalo.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, gotcha.
They're in 2026. Yeah.
Gotcha. Wow, that's longer than I thought. Whew.
Makes sense not to schedule too much travel and hey, come spend your disposable income on stuff in December.
I am very curious to see with Worlds this next year how many people show up for the sudden death tournament, because like 192 with presumably like 160-ish coming from the United States, that's most of the people who qualified for day one this year. Roughly speaking, the numbers are relatively similar. I think we have like 176 day one this year in America. So like if top 16 move on, how easy is that sudden death tournament going to
it'll be all the currently, I believe still, unless I've forgotten something, still kind of homeless, like the Kenny the Geeks of the world that started playing the game in earnest halfway through the year and just like didn't get a chance to get their qualification, and they want to go to this cool event anyway, right?
Sure.
And they have a way in the door, and hopefully if UVS does a good job making their regionals very exciting, then those people have been to like one regional and been like, man, I want to see what Worlds is like, right?
Right. Yeah.
And even if I don't get into the main event, I'll still have things to do.
Right. And that's also the other thing. Like I can absolutely see it just being a bunch of people who can't go to like more than one regional, can't go to a lot of LCs because they just can't, do the thing.
Well, because like, a lot of people probably only have one LC with insane driving distance.
Right.
Hopefully, right.
And especially if things are getting cut, like we don't even know if there are going to be some people who even get that. So I imagine those people will absolutely be showing up for that event.
If anyone has 3 LCs within a 90-minute radius and it's not like a major hotbed of the game or something like that, then they probably messed up and denied an LC to some place that could have really used one.
Right. Yeah. And that kind of like goes back to what my feelings on like the 40 LC thing, which I'm not going to keep us on for a long time. I kind of talked Kevin's ear off about it like a week ago when I was still angry about it when I like first heard it. See, I want large events. I understand that's not where we are right now. Like, right? Like we aren't in a spot where we can have these massive 500, 600 player events like Magic, like, Magic has thousands, but you know what I mean? I want that. Like, I want to relive that 400 player nationals that we had, that Justin and I topped at. But I understand that the company is not aiming towards that right now. And I understand we probably don't have the player base to easily do that. So like at the time when I heard the 40 LC thing, that part of my brain was like, well, that sucks, right? Like, I want these large scale events. I want my locals to be able to go to these large scale events and feel like it matters. But that's just not the goal right now. And I've warmed up to it. I'm still not super happy about it, but I understand that's what they're trying to do.
I would say like my immediate emotional reaction to this thing was like, oh, they're like rewarding people who can like organize a crew and like, I could imagine road tripping to an LC and that everyone would be mutually grateful that we did that, because like we get to go and like do some like whatever crew battle nonsense of like go raid someone's store, but then also like we're pumping up the prize pool and there's going to be 2 people getting travel vouchers. We got 32 people together on the same weekend.
Sure. But there's also the feel bad, right? But then, and I understand that, right? Like I get that. I think that's cool. But there's also the other side of it where it's like you have a bunch of homies that you play with, and you want everyone to be able to go to that event. like the event at the end of the year, the big scale important event that everyone wants
Right,
to
right.
go to, and then like only one of you gets to go, right? And that
Yeah.
that feels really bad.
Yeah. Now,
And
in fairness, right?
Right.
Assuming that your area gets one LC per season, that's insane driving distance, right?
right.
If you have like 8 to 10 players, I would hope that any store that's regularly getting 8 players has it. There's an LC in that area, right?
Right.
If
Hopefully.
not like literally
Yeah.
every store. So
Right.
I think you said the other week that you had 3 local people qualify. Well, this year you're gonna have 4, right?
Well, and that's and Jose just said in the Discord, you say that, and then there might be
Yeah,
another gang from out of state that just shows up
sure.
and just
Yeah,
steals
but
Greenlight,
now
and,
now there is an actual last chance tournament, though,
Right.
at least this time.
Sure,
right?
sure.
Yeah.
It
that's
is
fair.
also that is where there's a good thing of the roll down versus like
Sure.
this year. There was a really annoying thing this year. When I drove down to Austin, like I deprived Austin of the first place, which was like 11 points because I was trying to get day 2. That might have kept. They didn't have anyone who was really in close contention for day 1 where that was a problem, but they very much could have. There have been a lot of areas where I've seen that have had that.
Right.
You might deprive someone in that area of it. Whereas this year, once you get one invite, you can't hog more. You can't. You can hog travel vouchers, but you can't go and hog like actual invite worth to try to make Omega Day 2 or whatever like you can this year.
Yeah. And in fairness to Jose's comment, we are talking about Worlds invites that are supposed to be for your top competitive level event, and if out of state demons come and raid your Worlds invite, then you probably weren't that big of a serious Worlds contender to begin with, right?
Yeah, and that's why
if you just want to go and show up, they will hopefully make the event worth doing that for, even if you're not in the main event.
Right, and that's kind of why I wish we had something more like nationals still. And again, I said, I understand.
I think if they bring back nationals, it should be in the middle of the year and not.
Absolutely, I'm fine with that. I'm totally cool.
Yeah,
with that.
kind of have the anti-poll of you have your end, you have your
major,
year.
Yeah, right.
And I mean, it could even just be that they have we have several regionals, and there's one regional that's like, hey, this is really the regional, but I mean, they can always sweeten the pots however they like. And I think well, I mean, you're perspective in here. I think that for me, I like the system where we have a slightly more predictable path. We have a path that has slightly less well, I guess a system that isn't just these binary, are you in or are you out of worlds?
Sure.
That there's you can be 40% of the way to a world's qualification, and that it's not just in or out, and it's not just you select the right events, because there's always variance in the game, right? Even if you're like the best player, and you're the best player either. So like,
and I will say this, like, and I think this is the thing that when I was arguing it that day, that a lot of people didn't seem to understand. The people that were arguing with me about it, I do think this is better than last year.
Yeah,
I think I love this new year of competitive play or organized play, aside from like 2 things. Like I'm not a big fan of the limited events, but I'll get over it. It's not that big of a deal. I'm a little upset on behalf of the overseas players because it does kind of suck to a certain degree. But overall, I think this is a huge improvement over this past year. But I can still be unhappy about parts of it, right? Like it's not perfect, but it's good. It's better.
I do think there's another promising thing this year. I am really glad to see Levi at the forefront of this whole thing. One of the big questions that has been had to kind of big picture it about Riftbound being such a big deal and UVS running OP for that is how much would OP for Universus get neglected? And the good news is if they let Levi continue to be in an authority position, which it looks like he is for Universus OP, I stop worrying about that, because anybody who has spoken to Levi knows that Universus is his one and only love right now. Also the Transformers TCG, but that's dead. But his current one and only love is Universus, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
I don't know, man. Did you not see how he loved the High School Musical CCG at Worlds 2 years ago?
Is there a High School Musical CCG?
It was really old. He found a pack about it and was just making some jokes about it. But like,
I want that. No, I want that. Hold on.
He acted like it was like a full, like his #1 game, and it was so funny. It was such a good bit.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff out there. There's a YouTube channel called like Card Game Crypt or something where they just go over ancient stuff that never went anywhere and like died immediately, but this guy's got booster packs of it.
Hold on, are there booster packs for high school? I'm on eBay right now. Are there booster packs for the High School Musical
and, like,
season?
A certain layer of like detached meta observer nonsense, like it's kind of dope that like Levi's out here like being the front of organized play and like making YouTube videos and you know being enmeshed with the community, and that I think there's obviously we're gonna see how people react to the corporate answers once we haven't talked about the FAQ and the open Discord. Well, I think it was an open forum, but
regardless of how this particular one went with the EU tantrums and whatever that took over the place, they should keep doing FAQs and like AMAs in the Discord. Like
100%.
This was a very, very, very good thing to do.
I really hope that the influx of troll and just upset people post in there, I hope that doesn't dissuade them from doing more, because that was such a smart idea. It's so clever. I really want them to do more of it.
Yeah, if they are listening, I forgot one question that I really wanted to ask and I never got to ask it. I would really like it if deck lists are required for LCs.
Oh, sure.
If LCs are more important now, because they obviously are, I 100% agree.
Let's get some like 16-person LCs on Metaverses. Be sick.
Yeah.
At the absolute minimum, if UVS Games is paying you $1.50 for showing up and playing Universes, you owe them a deck list, and they should post that deck list on the internet, and we should all get to look at it and be like, "Wow, that deck's cool."
I agree.
That is a professional Universes player right there who aired $150 out of it. Counts.
Anyway,
so
I forget if I completely finished my thought or not, but it's well.
I think that covers the majority of what is going on with Worlds next year.
So we're supposed to get an updated FAQ tomorrow. We'll see if they have an answer for overseas this quickly. I'm sure they will have either an answer or a non-answer to it in whatever they post, because it's certainly the most frequently asked line of questions. They will probably have to reiterate how the buys work because nobody read it the first time, and then they kept asking about it. But
I'm sure that whatever they say will be qualified as a corporate non-answer by some.
Oh yeah.
No matter how.
They might say something to the effect of like, "Hey, we're going to try to do something, right?" And just then people will get crazy expectations or really toxic non-expectations or whatever, and debate over where their expectations should be in circles.
But I'm gonna remember this phrase, complaining about the complainers, and strive to do less of it, because it's like such a natural, to be honest.
I think the thing that I do want to say, kind of last thing I want to cover with the EU and the complaining about complainers, is I don't think screaming gets results. I think constructive criticism and reasonable complaints get results better. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe I'm being too optimistic. With how people treated the FAQ, my first thought is, oh, UVS should never do an FAQ like this again. Like, if there's anything controversial, because they got so much unnecessary blowback, and I don't think that's a good thing.
I think that if you have authoritative knowledge on something that is valuable to speak and to share, and that it is much less valuable to speculate or to prognosticate or to assign blame or to assign motives to other people, and that you aren't other people, you can speak on your own authority of what's going on, but when you start talking about what other people are thinking or why other people are doing what they're doing, that's a very appealing thing to do. That's certainly a great way to get a very galvanized mob circle jerking on your team together. But it is much less meaningful in the grand scheme of things, and is much less durable and much less capable of driving actual change or actual meaningful dialogue in any sense. And so I would encourage people to try to avoid that as much as they can.
Yeah, 100%.
Even though it's not as gratifying as having a circle jerk. Circle jerks feel really good.
Yeah, and so I think that covers the majority of.
Do you have any further thoughts on Circle Jerks message? Are you trying to change the
No,
topic?
he's having fun with this with the stream image. If you go take a peek at that,
Oh
Um,
boy.
he's
I
only
just hit
trolling
pause.
himself.
I unpaused the stream. I immediately got ads.
so
Let's have it
I'm
going.
in chat only.
so I think this is a good place for us to kind of wrap the conversation. As I don't want to just dog on EU too much because I do get their frustration.
2026 looks so good.
I genuinely,
they should do a little bit better for overseas just to get. There's a lot of value in having, the event to look forward to, and whether that's highlighting an LC or adding some kind of tier 3 event that you're not calling a regional or whatever. I hope they give them something like that.
Right.
I
agree.
Is it the slam dunk that I wanted to be? No. We're not where I'm like everything is perfect, but it is a huge step in the right direction.
Yeah, I don't think I can judge this until we see Chicago.
Sure.
Realistically, like I'm not going to say the pageantry because it's not that fancy, right? But the all the peripheral stuff, how cool, does it happen? How cool is it? For probably not. I probably won't care personally too much either way. But the one question I did ask in the FAQ is UVS Games going to be a lot more hands-on with these events?
Yeah.
This time, right? Because in 2025, it was a lot of like, we've assigned it to this TO. Go forth, make event.
Right.
Right. And then, that sometimes that went better and sometimes that went not so better.
Right.
And if they really want to dictate that there's going to be all this fancy stuff going on, then they can't just like hope the TO does it.
Yeah.
Right. So, we'll see in terms of that stuff, in terms of the how good the promos are and that kind of thing, when we get there. And it's gonna, if all these regionals are like totally knock it out of the park, then this plan looks a lot better than if like the regionals are just kind of what we've had the past couple of years.
Right.
I think if I were to state like the things that I want that they have said here to work out for me to be really happy. I mean, obviously good promos, but that's obvious. I want a good stream table because they have said that like they are going to try to push for like, I think they said I don't remember if they used the exact term TAM level commentary or like that's just been kind of the vibe. Like if we get like high level commentary on every regional, if we get a really good, well thought out tournament structure for the competitions that's well handled, and we get the way the world invites are handled and all of that, the pricing is at least decent, I will be very happy with this year. Because those are like the three things I need. The things like are the panels good or not? Like those can be relevant. Like, but I think there's a reason we didn't spend a lot of time talking about them. Like it's just
I want one absolute train wreck panel that is like unforgettably bad for everyone who's there. Just because like, you can't be too good. You can't be perfect, right?
Yeah.
Important that it's not. But I'm gonna do my characteristic hysterical optimism thing of like, dude, it is so sick that we're giving out 5 personalized cards next year. Right. I forget if it's
we haven't talked about that enough aside from me poshing them. But
yeah, I actually I do want to say
pretty
like,
cool.
I know. So I had talked to like a few employees over the last couple of years. Because I was like, I think the conversation was like a year ago. And I forget who I was talking to, but it was one of the people handling OP, not currently, I don't think. Where I was like, hey, are we going to get more Wish tournament like events? And I was told probably not, because it's really hard to do the design. It puts a lot of pressure on the design team to spend a lot of time working on this one card. And like, there's so much of a back burner of cards, and they are pumping those cards out pretty quickly from what their back burner was. But
they should be caught up by the end of next year, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't think there's a ton left.
I think this is an amazing compromise.
Sure.
You don't get the mechanically unique thing, so you don't have to worry about the design team. It's something that already exists, but you're getting your representation in the game. I know I am more excited about trying to win a regional this coming year more than I have ever been about winning a regional.
Right.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
And I've won several.
That's fair.
Yeah. Well, and I've not. So thanks, Broberg. Like, that's okay, dude. No, it's
Hashtag
fine.
scoreboard.
Yeah, I understand you've knocked me out more than once
it is.
on winning.
It does strike me that this is a little bit. Maybe I don't think it's like that. Not public. They were really worried about the art queue and like how long it was going to get them to get art done for all the like logjam of champ cards, and then they're just like, yeah, I don't know, we'll make 4 more of these a year.
Yeah,
is a bit of a turnaround, is a bit of a change from them. So maybe they've sort of squared away how they're going to get art developed when they need it here.
Yeah. I mean, it might just be using more commissioned artists to help them with stuff. Like there are probably ways that they can speed that process up.
Yeah, I mean, right now all the stuff they've done so far, I think, is by the same guy. So even if they get a second commission artist, that's
what?
Yeah, Tim,
Will sir. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I don't get to show this off, but I do have them.
Oh,
I believe they're going to show them on the Glasgow stream for the 2019 UK teams card and probably some other UK cards.
That's
but I did get them in the mail. They do exist. They will be legal January 1st.
Ooh.
It is probably going to be a pretty relevant card. It's one of those cards that didn't seem like as meaningful in development than it feels now. But yeah, we'll see.
Paul, I've been doing like joke putting images on. I refuse to put any Ginzo Man art on this stream.
Coward.
Absolutely
Coward. Coward.
Oh man.
I have to be prepared for a student.
But you'll just throw the silly High School Musical card game on there. Okay, I see how it is.
Right. Jose, I had no input into anything this card did, other than like, I think at one point I suggested -1 difficulty. Other than that, the teammates decided what the card did.
Tim
it will look like
it's
all my fault.
Oh man. No, so I think that it does kind of put us at a good point here. I'm excited. I think everyone here is excited for regionals next year and for next year's OP structure.
It's a good year to play Universes, although it is good that 4 white guys to the podcast are still excited about the game, because there's sure a lot of other stuff to do with our time this year.
Really important. The only reason I caution myself is I remember how excited I was for OP this year when they announced it last year, and like half of it came to be and half of it didn't really. So we'll see. I'm optimistic. I think it'll be good. Hoping.
Tim, are you able to answer Jose's question in the chat?
The team. It was me. Yeah. It was Ricky Gopal, and it was his local buddy Lee Thatchell.
Okay.
Who win like OXX with a Jackie deck, and all the matches that we won were me and Ricky winning our match.
Nice. We love it.
But that was the one thing I managed to actually accomplish with Yusuke, playing him in 20 events straight.
I hate that character, honestly. I hate that that is obviously like the best starter retro deck is just like play Yusuke and get all of the overpowered cards they put on the back page of Yusakudo too.
That deck was cool. He had aggro lines, he had defensive line. He could play any kind of game that you needed him to play.
He is Teak Universes, but like it still rubs you the wrong way how much of a fucking precon he is.
Yeah.
Actually, he's not precon.
His attack lineup is very precon. The foundations are figured out. Yeah.
Yeah, foundations are
friends and rivals figured out.
You can do anything you want. Yeah,
All right, I think we are starting to go off the rails a little bit.
Yeah, once we start boomer retroing it up, that's
boomer retro is where we know we're hitting the danger. Last thought, put heroic in next year's OP season somewhere.
My Hero Academia only this weekend on Sam's whatever, and MGLA.
Yeah, you're right.
And shout out to Incast as opposed to Beforecast that they've seemingly committed in some way, shape, or form to like actual retro side event, like some sort of official retro support and retro specific prizing, and the same for teams implied in some way, shape, or form for this OP cycle. And we'll see what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So as we're kind of wrapping things up, does anybody have anything they want to plug? Got channels, anything like that? Broberg.
I have like 5 drafts. That kind of
He'll get there one day. It's
Broberg, not that I have any right to say anything, but when was your last video posted?
I posted on Substack 2 weeks ago.
Fair. Valid.
My YouTube's YouTube/Chatonis, CETONIS. I just posted nothing too fancy, just like 15 cards that we can legally play now that Sweeping Daggers is gone. Just as like a little quick video.
I like that video, especially when I remembered that Food Motivated exists as one of the like also ran. It's delightful. I don't know.
Yeah. What a good PMNT card.
Yeah, I should probably do, now that we have that ban list, we could probably do this without the King of Fighters characters, do a like the Winter Worlds meta poll.
Ooh, yeah.
Like sort of alternate every 3 months. I do like a top prospects, and then I do like a poll of, if you're gonna go play at Worlds, what are the 5 if you had to lock into 5 characters for Worlds, what would they be?
Right.
To try to get away from like the best characters and just what are people actually playing.
Sure.
Kind of idea, and then just report back the results as just a piece of content in the Etherverse.
Nice. I technically have a Twitch channel, Double Mulligan. I have not been in a position to make content recently. I will say something will be made over Thanksgiving break. I am sitting down. I have like, I don't know if it's going to be streaming stuff, if it's going to be YouTube stuff, what direction I'm going to go with it. Paul is suggesting a High School Musical box opening.
I have a suggestion, teacher. How about you finish editing the episode of History Universus?
That I could do. I could definitely do.
It has the most views on our YouTube channel for your little preview of it, and nothing.
What is Road to Empress, Tim? Hold on.
Yeah, so a streamer I watched like played this as like a subathon goal, and it was a strangely compelling piece of content to just hang out and watch on my day off.
Is this the Chinese
thank you for explaining nothing about what it is.
Northern Line.
Yeah, I don't think I would ever play it, but it sure like kept me from playing the game I actually meant to be playing while watching it. Instead, I was watching that while occasionally touching a game.
Is this one of those stupid mobile game ones?
No.
Okay.
I mean, maybe it works on a phone.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, I mean, it's like pick one of the 2 choices, then watch a cutscene, right?
Yeah, you probably die. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
hell yeah.
Point
it's
is,
a choose your own adventure where almost all of them are dead ends.
Yes.
Good.
Keep an eye out. It will either be content related to like Riftbound, Universes, or video game stuff. I'm gonna do one of the 3 of them. No, Andrew, I am a teacher. I would like to keep my job. I am not doing that as a stream.
It's like Dare, except for cooning.
And he's gone.
Yeah, we should just end stream with this, but he has to press the button.
Yes,
right.
the button.
Hey, Will, you wanna promote our?
Yeah. So as always, there's the if you missed any part of this, or if you missed any previous episodes, there's our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com /4checkscast. I almost said build UVS. My brain stopped working. 4checkscast on YouTube. I uploaded the most recent episode on Tuesday, mostly because Monday was a lot busier for me than it should have been. But Monday and Tuesday when I'll always upload the most recent episode. So yeah, go check us out there.
All right. I'm gonna go send y'all to raid someone. Let's see if Tam is still streaming.
Yeah,
Tam is streaming Dispatch. So if you don't want spoilers, don't go.
Yeah, so go have fun, y'all. Bye.
See ya.
They're even stand for. Good night, everyone.
And then I'm gonna hit the end stream button.